normal. Ode to normal. Ode to normal.
An ode to normal. An ode to late nights when we gathered without concern. Filled rooms with friends just to take up space we didn't have to give. But together with those we loved is where we wanted to be. Gave hugs with greetings, rubbed shoulders with strangers and wasn't afraid of being infected. An ode to face-to-face conversations. To history, for things will never be the same after COVID tells her story. An ode to physical touch and quality time. Because the only language that we now speak is fear, is anxiety, is depression. Because once we find a vaccination, the new conversation will be how PTSD grew legs and marched into our homes. How OCD grew arms in an attempt to clean up our mistakes. Like maybe we should have stayed inside weeks ago. This virus has been viral. This nation's leadership has lost all its validity in its people. They tell us to stand in solidarity, but now our homes have become 5x9 holding cells. Zoom calls have become the new telephone game without the string. Hoping these invisible lines will keep us connected. But my Wi-Fi keep cutting in and out like the seasons. Like is it spring yet? Like some blame God and others have chosen to put their trust in him. I fought in the camp with Jesus' disciples on the boat in the midst of the storm. Yes, the winds and waves do obey him. And thunder and lightning always have the way of revealing who's in control. So after the rain and flood stops, where will you place your hope? I'm gonna have to tell my kids about such things one day. How we were asked to keep social distancing, but all my close friends feel like second cousins. How we were asked to stand 6 feet apart, but some now lay 6 feet deep. Loved ones can't even get a proper burial. How we were asked to wear masks just to breathe, but I still get choked up for the now single mother that has to tell her daughter that her daddy's not coming home. Reports say America has lost 60,000 alone. They say COVID don't see color. But I am still mourning these black and brown bodies that are dying at alarming rates. Like Chicago, I see you. Like New York, I see you. Like when you redline the people, you take away their basic essentials. You outline them with white chalk. You call them ghosts. You put them back on front lines because you know they can't afford to work from home. While those with privilege are protesting about going back to work. Some died because they went to work. Now tell me, how's that work? You would think this crisis would bring us together like family reunions, but we are still divided like corporation and unions. I'm asking for a friend who will protect us. This pandemic has exposed racism and economic division from the four walls of our country, while our government saves face, knowing the problem has been systemic. We question if CDC wants to save people that look like me. Our trust issues stem from syphilis experiments from our experience at Tuskegee. Found a cure and still couldn't help those that got them there. Sounds like our economical greed used us as slaves and hung us from trees. They say this recession will be more massive than the Great Depression. A stimulus check won't resurrect some of these mom and pop businesses. But let me tell you what Jesus did with 12. To quote ordinary man and change the world. So don't tell me that he can't change our situation. But I am praying that he would first change us. That we would wake up. Because today, I watched the sunrise. It taught me despite dark days, troubled times will not last always. An ode to normal.